What's up, guys? Welcome to my replay viewers. Thank you guys so much for jumping in, checking out my broadcast. Sorry I missed you live, but so glad you guys took some time to check it out. What is up to my live crew this morning? Great to see you all this morning. So glad to have you here. I appreciate y'all coming in to hang out with me on this Thursday morning. Great morning to you, Brian. What's up, Adam? It's nice to see you. Tracy, Alexis, good morning to you. Tasha, great morning to you. I see Tracy and my other Tracy's here. Kim, good morning to you. Y'all are amazing, and I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this morning. We're going to do a two-part series, guys, today and tomorrow, and we're going to talk about how to sell out your next launch. This topic and conversation was requested by one of my clients. And, last week, I did a two-part series on content strategy, talking about all things content and how to create not only an effective and engaging content strategy, but how to create a content strategy that actually sells your product. So we unpacked that thoroughly. If you missed those broadcasts, I highly encourage you to check those out. That was last week, Thursday and Friday. And I had one of my clients request me to talk about launching and how to prepare for a launch, what's necessary for a launch, and all things launch strategy. So that's what we're going to talk about today and tomorrow. But today we're going to talk about what I'm going to refer to as kind of the preempt to really having an effective launch. One crucial thing that absolutely has to be tackled and that you have to be very confident and very comfortable with prior to really going into the strategy behind a launch. So we're going to talk about that thing today. I'm going to tell you about what that is here in just a second. But grab your pen, grab your paper, get yourself ready to roll, and we're going to dive right into this. Hang tight. I'll be right back with you, all right? Hold on. Maybe. Intro. There we go. All right, y'all. Justin Kaplan Pro is my name. JustinKaplanPro.com is my website. I'm a startup business mentor and a branding strategist that specializes in helping startup entrepreneurs turn your passion, your gifting, your ideas into a profitable and scalable brand, leveraging the power of social media marketing. If you are new to me, new to my channel, new to my content, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you are watching me for the first time on whatever platform you're on, feel free to give me a hashtag first time in the chat stream. I would love to know that you were here, and my crew would love to make you feel welcome. So let me know if it is the first time you've ever joined in with us. Shirley, great morning to you, and it's nice to see you back. Appreciate you coming in to hang out with us. Again, we're going to dive right into this today, guys. This is part one of two, where I'm going to be talking about how to sell out your next launch. Today, what I'm going to be talking about is how to actually communicate your program. This is one of the things that I believe is so essential and so crucial to having a successful launch, as you have got to be able to actually confidently communicate what it is that you actually do. So today I'm going to be walking you through several different steps on really it's my process, but it's a great way to be able to kind of break down what you do and how you do it, and be able to set yourself up with a method to communicate your product, service, or program to someone that's live right in front of you, or to an audience on a live stream, or in an opportunity where you just have someone ask you, what do you do? How do you explain that? We're going to talk about how to communicate your product, program, or service, because without this, a launch won't work. And I'll tell you this is the problem that I see so many people having. So many people go into content strategy, what to post, where to post. They're creating graphics and doing videos. But when it really comes down to the point where you're like, this is what I'm offering, this is what I'm launching, this is what I'm selling, people struggle to articulate their program. They struggle to articulate exactly what it is, and more importantly, why the person you're talking to needs it. So I'm going to share with you a process this morning on how to break down what you do and communicate what you do, so that the person on the other end of that conversation is like, wow, I want to learn more about that. Because it's the thing. Confidence is crucial. Communicating clearly is crucial. If you lack confidence and clarity in communicating what you do and what your program is, the person that's on the receiving end of that conversation lacks confidence in your ability to deliver it. And I'm going to give you some examples of this throughout the way. But we're going to talk about communication today, because Tomorrow, I'm going to unpack methods and strategies and processes for how to actually create a great effective launch. But I'm not going to teach you how to do a great effective launch until you actually confidently know how to communicate your program. Okay? So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you a quote of the day. This quote of the day is my quote. And my quote is: the service provider that best demonstrates that they understand their prospect's problem and can provide a valuable solution is usually the one that gets the business. I'm going to say that again. The service provider, meaning you're the service provider, the service provider that best demonstrates that they understand their prospect's problem and can provide a valuable solution is usually the one that gets the business. Now, the person that's on the other end of that conversation with you comes to that conclusion and sees you as that person when they can clearly and confidently understand what it is that you do. So we have to be able to articulate that, Jamie. Great morning to you guys. Cheers and good morning to you. I hope your morning beverage is delicious, and I appreciate you hanging out with me this morning. All right. So we're just going to unpack this in a few different steps. I'm going to give you, what do I got? 7 different things that I'm going to break out this morning for you. And I'm just going to kind of talk to you about how I communicate what I do and how I do it. And then as I go through this, I'm going to give you some examples, right? So the first thing that I would encourage you to think about is, with your signature product or your signature program, can you break your program out in stages? All right. So for example, so point number 1, tip number 1 is stages. The reason why I break out the way I communicate my process in stages, for one, it makes it way easier to digest all the things that my service offers. Okay, so if I'm for the sake of example, throughout this conversation today, I'm going to be talking about my signature branding package. All right, so my signature branding package, it's my baby. It's the most valuable thing that I do. It's the most highly engaged product and service that I offer. It's something that I have refined and perfected over the years, and it's my baby. This is the thing that I offer a majority of my clients, all right? So my signature branding package has a lot to it. We cover everything from figuring out your marketing language to creating your visuals and doing your branding and then creating your website. But then I also include coaching in that, and it involves social media marketing and teaching you how to run a business and all the things with creating invoices and setting up bookkeeping and doing your legal elements. And so there's all that stuff going into that. So if I'm having this conversation with someone and someone's maybe engaged with me, or they hear that I'm launching my new signature branding package and I'm doing a live video. Maybe I'm doing a live video and I haven't really thought this out. This is what happens. It's what happens with a lot of people when they're doing their launches. It's like, guys, I'm getting ready to launch my new signature branding package, and this is going to be so good. I'm so excited about it. Enrollment is going to open up on Friday, and this is going to cover everything that you need to run a business. We're going to do marketing. We're going to talk about how to figure out your marketing language, how to set your business up to succeed. We're going to talk about, the graphics, and I'm going to do all the visuals for you and your logo and your business cards. We're going to create a website for you. I'm going to teach you how to handle social media marketing. We're going to figure out your signature program and your magnets and your funnels, and you've lost me, right? Because there's so much that I'm trying to communicate. This is the problem that a lot of people have, is majority of us that are selling something, and especially if it's a premium program, there's a lot into it. And so you want to be able to communicate the value of what all you're going to be able to be offering. But most people just start vomiting all this stuff out. And you're like, wait, okay, what all am I going to go into that? What's all going to be happening there? And so we want to structure the way we communicate this in a way where you can follow what I'm saying and understand how what I'm saying meets your need and hits your pain point. Okay. So the first piece of this is breaking out, if you can do this, breaking out what you do into stages. All right. So with me, I kind of have different stages that my package goes through, and I designed it this way to make it easier to understand. So when I'm talking to a potential client, they can kind of see the steps that we're going to take. All right. So I break my package out into 4 stages. So stage 1, I call identity and marketing language, and I'm going to explain each of these, all right? But my first one is identity and marketing language. My second one is visuals and perspective. Stage 3 is websites, programs, and monetization. And then stage 4 is marketing and business management. So I'm going to give you kind of this in steps, all right? So when I'm talking about communicating, this is about communicating your signature program. The first 3 steps that I want to give you is breaking it out in stages, highlighting key bullet points, and then emotional triggers. All right, stages, bullet points, and triggers. So what I want to be able to communicate confidently to you is the stages that we're going to go through. Each of the stages, I want to highlight a couple of key bullet points of what's going to happen in that stage. And then most importantly, I want to cover how those bullet points address an emotional need that you have. Okay. So for example, if I'm communicating my signature branding package, I'm going to say, guys, stage one is what I call identity and marketing language. And what we're going to do in this is we're going to figure out what your specialty is, what your niche is, who your ideal client is. I'm going to help you land on a business name. We're going to do research on that business name to figure out how much saturation. I'm going to help you figure out your domain name. And overall, I'm going to help you figure out how to communicate your brand name so that you know if someone asks you, what do, you know how to confidently and clearly communicate that. And we're going to set you up to be successful with a brand name that when people search for you on Google, they're going to find what we want them to find, not everything else that people are going to be looking for on Google. All right. So that summary is basically I'm going to be helping you with your specialty. I'm going to help you figure out what your niche is going to be. I'm going to help you target your ideal client. We're going to land on what your business name is. I'm going to teach you how to find a domain name. And then overall, I'm going to help you communicate that. So those were kind of my bullet points of that stage one piece. But a couple things that I'm communicating there is I'm kind of answering some questions. Good morning, Jackie. I'm answering some questions that I know most startups have as where do I start? How do I pick a business name? How am I going to get found amongst all the other people that are out there? How do I communicate what I do? If someone asks me, what do I do? What are the first things that a business has to do to get started? So those are emotional triggers that my people have. So again, the first 3 points I'm giving you today is stages, bullet points, and emotional triggers. You want to be able to communicate your signature program in the stages you're going to go through. Each stage should have a couple of bullet points, but then the bullet points need to directly address the things that you believe your person is probably dealing with. All right. So if I'm starting again, guys, stage one for me is identity and marketing language. And I'm going to go into talking about specialty, niche, ideal client, business name, saturation, domain names, and then how to communicate. So then I'll go into stage two. Stage two is visuals and perspective. With visuals and perspective, this is where we're going to do all things graphics. I'm going to help you design your logo. We're going to talk about headshots. We're going to help you figure out color scheme and the emotions that have to be conveyed behind color schemes. We're going to talk about fonts and how fonts convey emotion and feeling. We're going to talk about the tone and the attitude of your brand. And overall, I'm going to help you establish the perspective that you need to establish as a first-class business owner so that when people see you, they see you as a business owner, not just a person with good information, because that's where you get stuck in the friend zone, creating social media content that nobody engages with. All right, so that's stage two. I'm covering emotional pain points that people have. How do I want to present myself? How do I get confident in my brand? How do I get past basic social media followers and turn those into loyal paying clients? So I'm addressing the things that I'm going to do: logo, headshots, color schemes, fonts, feel, attitude, tone, perspective. But I'm also communicating to you why we're doing those things and what those things are going to do for you. Then I go into stage three. Stage three is website, programs, and monetization. This is where I help you define your signature program. This is where I help you establish a list builder. It's going to build your email list. We're going to talk about lead magnets on how to create things that are going to generate lead opportunity for you. We're going to talk about funnels. I'm going to teach you how to create passive income opportunity as well as premium income opportunity. Basically, my mission in this step is to set up the tools that you need to work for you to create passive and premium income and really get your website and your systems working for you so you can operate fully in your business. All right. And then the last step is marketing and management. Marketing and management is all about business management and understanding how to operate with the tools that I've given you and how to actually run your business, how to scale your business, and how to really just go out and enjoy being successful. All right. So that summary overall, as I just broke out my business. Good morning, Jay. Nice to see you, buddy. I broke out those steps into basically my signature branding package is four stages. Identity and marketing language is stage one. Visuals and perspective is stage two. Website, programs, and monetization is stage three. Marketing and management is stage 4. So there's a lot that goes into that program, but by giving you those stages, it's easier to follow. Now, I want to just check in with you guys real quick because I know I'm throwing a lot at you. Is that make it easier versus the first perspective? Because again, let me just give you an example. Let me just kind of break this out for you. If let's say I'm doing a live video and I'm in a launch week or I'm in a launch month and I'm trying to prepare to launch my new signature program. So I've got a launch upcoming and I'm teaching content, based upon what I taught you last week. I've got emotional, engaging content. I'm attracting. Good morning, Paul. Nice to see you, buddy. I'm attracting people in because I want to lead them to this program that I'm offering. So I get to the point where I want to talk about my program. Like, guys, I'm super excited. I have a brand new program that I'm launching. It's my signature branding package. This is going to cover everything that you need to start up your business. We're going to cover, logo, and we're going to do your branding, and we're going to talk about, colors and schemes, and I'm going to have your website set up for you. We'll help you figure out your signature program and, how to build an email list and all the things. Then I'm going to teach you how to do social media marketing, how to do great posts that engage people, and pricing strategy. We're going to coach. It's going to be amazing. And that's going to be X amount of dollars. If anybody's interested in this, I'd love for you to go over here and check out this link. Yeah, and you're like, wait, what? Can you back up a minute? Like, can you explain that to me a little bit clearer? Because it's just rambling. It just feels like rambling. And a lot of people just kind of spew all that out. But if I'm, all right, guys, let me just take a minute to share with you what I'm so excited to share with you about this upcoming launch. So I'm launching my signature branding package for 2021. And I'm so excited to talk about this. Let me just explain to this real quick. I break my program out into 4 different stages. Stage 1 is identity and marketing language. And that's where we're going to focus on your specialty, your niche. I'm going to help you figure out who your ideal client is. We're going to land on a business name. I'm going to help you do research on that name to make sure that it's not saturated and something that we can actually position you to be found. I'm going to help you purchase your domain name, secure your name all across social media networks, and set you up to be confident in communicating what your brand is, who you are, and what you do. The second stage is visuals and perspective. That's where we're going to do all things visual. We're going to work on your logo together, headshots. I'm going to help you pick the right color schemes to convey the emotion that you need to convey. We're going to talk about fonts and how fonts also convey emotion. We're talking about the feel and the tone of your brand and the attitude that you want your brand to have. And overall, we're going to establish your perspective. People will interact with you based upon their perception of you. So we want to establish you as a confident first-class business owner so you can get paid like one. And we want to keep you out of the friend zone with your social media audience so they don't just view you as a nice person with good information. The third step is website and programs and monetization. I'm going to help you establish and build your signature program, your premium program. But along with that, we're also going to build list builders, how to build and establish an email list. I'm going to help you create lead magnets to attract clients. We're going to create funnels to monetize and systemize your products, programs, and services. I'm going to help you create passive income opportunity as well as premium income opportunity. Overall, I want to position you with the right tools to work for you so then you have that passive opportunity and premium clients, all right? And then lastly is marketing and business management. Running a business is all about building a business is also about running a business. So I want to talk to you about marketing strategy so that you know how to use all these tools that I'm going to build for you. But we're also going to talk about pricing strategy, closing strategy, and then I'm going to teach you what it really takes to manage and run a business. I'm going to give you everything that you need and nothing that you don't to go out there and operate this business confidently and clearly. So that's a lot that I just said, right? But is it easy to follow? I'm curious. Put yes in the chat room if you find that easier to follow. Because the thing is, guys, when you're selling a premium program, again, the hardest part about launching and selling a program is being able to confidently communicate your value and the value of what you're offering without confusing the person that's listening, right? And that's the trick. And this is really the hardest part about marketing. But the thing is if you can do that, if you can give people a method of following what you do, it makes it easier to digest. And I think one of the biggest, these 3 things are the things that make it easier to digest. Stages. All right. So are there stages that your program goes through? And I give you 4 stages in mind. With each stage, if you can just highlight key bullet points of what's going to happen within that stage. And then most importantly, piece 3, is the emotional triggers. Why do they care about those stages? So if you notice, when I explain this for myself, I'm talking about identity and marketing language. I'm talking about how to make sure that we're positioning you to be found, how to give you confidence in communicating what you do, how to make sure that we don't get you stuck in the friend zone. You know, when I talk about visuals and perspective, I'm talking about how to position you as a first-class business owner so that when people see you, they see you as someone that they would consider investing in, and that we keep you out of the friend zone, because a lot of people get stuck in the friend zone with your social media audience, where they view you as a good person, but they don't view you as a hireable professional. So I'm addressing those things. When I talk about website and programs and monetization, I'm going to help you outline your signature program and create it. I'm going to teach you how to build and expand an email list. I'm going to create lead magnets for you so you know how to attract those clients. I'm going to talk about funnels, because people hear about funnels and list builders and email things, and they don't know what to do with that. So as I'm communicating these things, you know, you don't have to understand the ins and outs of exactly what that looks like. All you know is, if I hire Justin, he's going to do this all for me. This is all inclusive. It's going to all be covered, and he's going to be with me every step of the way. He's going to help me build my list and help me attract clients and help me position myself and help me communicate my business and help me set up passive income opportunity and help me set up premium opportunity. You know, when I go through all of that stuff, this is where a lot of people miss it with branding. A lot of people feel like branding is just a great logo and a great color scheme and a good looking website, but branding is so much more than that. Branding is about positioning yourself and staking your claim in the market. It's about creating a presence around you and about you that clearly communicates what you do, how you do it, and why people need it. And so when I go into stage 4, I talk about marketing and management, and I want you to understand that I'm not just going to build it all for you. I'm going to teach you how to use it. I'm going to teach you pricing strategy, closing strategy, marketing strategy. I'm going to teach you how to actually use the tools that I've given you and go out and position yourself to run that business. But then on the back end, I'm also going to teach you how to run a business, how to do the things behind the scenes that are necessary for you to actually scale and actually enjoy being successful. So as I go through each of those stages and as I go through each of those bullet points and the way I communicate it, I'm really spending time talking about those emotional pain points, those emotional triggers, to make sure that you can connect to those things and you can feel like, yeah, this is what I need. And by the time I get through running through all my stages and bullet points, you should be like, yes, that's exactly what I need. All right. And that's what you want people to accomplish. You want them to get to that point where they're like, okay, this sounds like exactly what I need. So that's your first 3 stages. The fourth thing I'm going to challenge you with, and again, I'm going to give you 7 points. Today we're talking about how to communicate your signature program. All right. How to communicate it. And again, this is my 2-part series on how to sell out your next launch. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about all things about process and marketing and posts and things you want to do ahead of time to prepare for a great launch. But if I prepare you for a great launch, but you can't confidently communicate what you're actually selling, it won't work for you. It won't work. So we have to tackle this first. This is something that you have to get out of the way first, because if you can't do this part, your launch will be a flop. You've got to be able to communicate what you do confidently to a live audience on a video or to even someone in front of you. You've got to be able to communicate this process, and you got to be so comfortable with it that you can communicate it without having to sit and read off of a notepad. All right. And that's tricky, and it takes practice. Okay. The fourth piece I want to give you on this, on communicating your signature, is a powerful summary statement. A powerful summary statement. There's a quote that I love. I've completely lost the girl that said that, but it says that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. As you're communicating your signature program, I can go through my bullet points and I can go through my stages, but I want to give you a statement that kind of just puts a bow on everything, that just summarizes. If I could give you 1 or 2 sentences, what do I want to say to just really capture what my program does? So this is what I usually say, something along the lines of this. I'll go through and I'll communicate my stages, my bullet points, and I'll engage those emotional triggers. And when I get to the end of it, I'll say, listen, guys, I do not want you wasting 1 second of your time or 1 dime of your money on anything that is not producing a direct result. My process will equip you with everything that you need and nothing that you don't to build a profitable and scalable business. And by the end of our contract period, you will know exactly what you need to do to own and operate it. something along those lines. So basically, I'm starting out with I do not want you wasting 1 second of your time or one dime of your money on anything that's not producing a direct result. The reason why I say that is because I know that majority of people that come to me for business development and branding have probably wasted money on a product, program, or coach at some point prior to getting to me. I don't know about you. How many of y'all have wasted money on a program or a person that sold you a flashy pitch, you invested in it, and it was a waste of your time? Or how many of y'all have listened to someone that gives you some good information, but then there's also pieces of it that were like, I don't need that. So I'm addressing an emotional trigger, a pain point, and I say that right at the top of that. So I summarize all the things that I do. And I say, I do not want you wasting 1 second of your time or one dime of your money on anything that is not producing a direct result. I am a results producer. My process will equip you with everything that you need and nothing that you don't to build a profitable and scalable business. And by the end of our contract period, you will know exactly what you need to do to own and operate that business. So then because the other piece of it too is one of the fears that people have had that I've communicated to me before is that I'm going to build this business, but then by the time we're done, I don't know, I'm not going to know what to do with it. So I want you to know that by the time of at the end of our contract period, you will know exactly what you need to do to own and operate that business that we just built for you. So that's my summary statements. That's stage 4. So we've talked about stages, breaking my process out in stages. Each stage includes bullet points of what's going to happen in that stage. And then each of those bullet points, I'm addressing emotional triggers, things that I know you're thinking about and worrying about. And at the end, I give it a powerful summary statement. So the summary statement is just wrapping a bow around everything that we're going to do to really land my point home. Now, if I'm actually in a launch period and I've got people that are engaged and interested, by the time I get to the end of my summary statement, you only got one question on your mind. And the one question on your mind is, how much is this going to cost? Right? Which is this is where we go to the investment. Okay. Now I'm going to give you I'm going to give you your last 3 points together, just like I gave you your first 3 points together. All right. So step 5 is investment. Step 6 is a time-sensitive hook. And step 7 is end with a question. Okay. Now, again, I'm giving this to you so that you can map this out in a way where you're actually going to be speaking to someone. Okay. Ideally, the way I communicate this would be like if I'm on the phone with somebody or I'm on Zoom with somebody's asked about my signature program and I'm communicating my signature program to them. So I always want to end with a question. I'm going to give you the question today that I think is the most powerful question you can ask anybody that's considering hiring you. All right. Spectacular question. And Shirley, thank you so much for that award. I see that, buddy. Kim Wendy, good morning to you. I don't think I said good morning to you yet. So investment, time-sensitive hook, and end with a question. And when I get done with this, I'm going to give you a summary of exactly how this entire thing feels so you can see how it all goes. Jeff, good morning to you, man. And that's off topic. But thanks for coming in and hanging out with us this morning. So investment. This is where you want to be confident in your pricing. Okay? Now, there's an old adage that you've probably heard before that once you share your price, you shut up and let that person marinate on it, all right? Because once you share your price, they're going to have to sit on it for a second and they're going to have to think about it for a second. But this is where you need to confidently communicate your price. Now, before I share price on this, I want you to understand that we could talk all day about price. There's so many things I could talk to you about pricing. The first thing I want you to get is that I am not your financial advisor. It is not my job to try to determine what you can afford or what you would be willing to pay for. That's not my job to figure that out. What my job is to be excellent in what I specialize in. And what I specialize in is branding and business development. What I'm communicating to you is what I specialize in. I communicate in all these stages. I'm confident in my ability to deliver for you. All you guys that are in the chat room, or you have a signature program, product, or service, How confident are you? Confident in your ability to do what you do? Put yes in the chat stream if you are. Like, aside from price, aside from selling it, you believe wholeheartedly that your service, your product, or your program can absolutely benefit the person that would be on the receiving end of it. Yes or no? Are you confident in that? You're confident that you can impact their life. You're confident that you can solve their problem. You're confident that you can benefit them with, you're confident that your process works, that your program works, that your system works. Are you confident in that? I am 1000%. I have zero inhibitions about that whatsoever. I am fully confident that no matter who you are, no matter what you do, if you are trying to build a business and you are stuck on the front end of building this thing and you need your branding done and you need your programs created and you need your visuals designed, you need all those things, I know and I believe in my heart that I'm the very best person that you can hire to solve that problem for you. Zero confidence in that, and or zero insecurity about that whatsoever. I'm 100% confident. So I think all of these yeses, right? I think you guys all are confident in that. Where people lack confidence is when they bring up their price. And you bring up your price because and the people that wrestle with price are the ones that wrestle with their own value. Is it worth this? Is it, will they pay for that? Can someone afford that? Is the audience that I'm talking to the right? Do I have enough rapport to charge that amount? That's all bullcrap. All of that is garbage. This is what you need to identify. This is what I do. This is the process that I have. This is the time that I invest in you. These are the things that we're going to accomplish. And this is what I believe this is worth. And you pick your price. And once you pick your price, that's the price that it costs. So when you bring up price, you've already communicated your process, your steps, the pain points. You've communicated all of that. So once you've communicated all of that, it is not your job to define or to try to decide what people can and can't afford or what they would or would not be willing to pay for. It's your job to provide your service to the best of your ability. And that service has a price tag to it. You got to separate those things. Your job is not to try to convince them of your value. Or try to convince them to purchase it. Your job is to basically communicate to them. This is my job. When I'm communicating to you and I'm doing a launch, I'm basically saying, this is what I do. This is how I do it. I'm confident in my ability to deliver this. And this is what that service costs. So pricing is over here in my mind. I'm not emotionally attached to the price. I am emotionally attached to my process and my program and your need. And I know I can solve your problem. That's my only emotion when I'm having a conversation with someone is I believe that I can help you. I know that I can help you. My process is sound. I'm confident in my ability to deliver for you. Would you like to get started? My program costs this much money. I'm not worried about whether you can afford it. I'm not worried about how you're going to find the money. I'm not worried about whether you're putting it on a credit card or whether you want to do payment plans. It does not matter to me. That's on you. It's up to you to figure that out. What I know is I'm confident in my ability to deliver for you. Do you want to hire me or not? Period. Somebody put period in the chat stream. That's it. You've got to get to this point with your communication, guys. I'm telling you, this is so important because once you go here, because it's the thing. One of my favorite quotes in the world is by Zig Ziglar. It says, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. I know if people want to hire me and they believe that I am the very best person to solve their problems and to help them build their business, they will find a way to hire me. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I know what my product and my service is worth. I know what my time is worth. I am confident in my ability to deliver for you. When you lack confidence, oftentimes it's because you're worried about the price. And you're allowing the price to creep in and you're questioning your value and your worth and can they afford it? I'm telling you this, listen, I'm going to say this again. If you lack confidence in your ability to communicate what you do, they will lack confidence in your ability to deliver for them. I think you guys can probably agree that there's no part of this conversation today where I have lacked confidence in communicating what I do for you. I mean, I'm believable, right? Would you guys agree with that? I am believable with what I do. And the reason why I'm believable is because I believe in me. I believe in what I do and how I do it, and I know it works, and I'm confident that I can serve you and serve you well. All right? So when you become believable, when you become believable, that's where people start forming this perspective in their mind that you are the person that they need. And then once you give them your price, they're like, all right, that's the price. I just need to figure out what that costs. This is why I have never in my life lowered my price after giving it. Ever. I had a conversation with someone recently that said, how do you handle when you share your price and someone asks you if you'd be willing to lower it? I'm like, I've actually never had someone ask me to lower it. I think the only reason someone would ask you to lower your price is if they actually thought you would. And if they thought you would, it's got to be because they felt like you weren't confident in that price. Or they thought you were flexible. I'm just curious of all you guys that are here. Would you ever consider asking me if you could have my package for cheaper? I haven't even told you what the price is yet. I mean, would that even cross your mind? Oh, I'm going to ask Justin if he would be willing to offer it for cheaper. Not a chance. Because why? Because you know there's no way I would offer it cheaper. Why would I? It's my program, right? This is everything that I'm going to do. Oh, it seems ridiculous to me. But it's all about that confidence. All right, so let's go to these last three pieces. We've talked about your summary statement. You put that bow on it, right? Investment, time-sensitive hook, and end with a question. This is how I wrap this up. So I'm gonna read I'm gonna say the summary statement again, and then I'm gonna go to my investment, the time-sensitive hook, and a question. So I communicated all my stages, points, and triggers to you. Guys, again, I do not want you wasting 1 second of your time or one dime of your money on anything that is not producing a direct result. My process will equip you with everything that you need and nothing that you don't to build a profitable and scalable business. And by the end of our contract period, you will know exactly what you need to do to own and operate it. This is a 1-year program, and I will be with you every step of the way. The investment for my signature branding package is $5,000. I currently only have 2 openings available, and as a bonus for this month only, I'm including a 1-year membership in my VIP Inner Circle for free, which is regularly $3,000. So you're getting a $3,000 bonus on top of this for the next 2 people that invest in me. How does that feel to you? And that's it. And then you stop. Now, there's a funny saying around sales that they said once you drop your price, the first one to speak loses. Okay, so this is the hardest part about selling is once you communicate your price, let that person have a second to marinate on it. Now, depending on the setting that you're in, if I'm on a phone call or if I'm on a Zoom with someone and I say all that and I say, how does that feel to you? I will wait for as long as it takes. But I will let them speak first. Do not speak for them. Let them speak first. And that question, that last question, how does that feel to you, is absolute gold. It's not, I'm not saying, is that something that you can do? Is that something that you would like to get started on? Would you like to get signed up? I'm not doing, I'm saying, how does that feel to you? Genuinely. I'm not being salesy. I'm asking you. And people will, I can't remember actually ever a time anyone giving me a disingenuous response. They usually tell me how that feels. I'll have some people like, that's amazing. I thought it was going to be higher. Let's get started. How do I get started? I've had people be like, that's a significant investment. I'm like, yes, it is. But this is also a significant process. This is 1 year of working with me. We have a lot to do. Is it something that you can do? Yeah, I can do it. I just have to move some things around, or I have to figure some things out. Or people will be like, that's more than what I could afford in a chunk. Do you offer payment plans? Absolutely. What are you thinking? Let me know what your thoughts are. And I could afford to put $1,000 down, and then I can make payments of $500 a month till it's paid off. All right, let's do that. But how does that feel to you is a powerful thing. So again, I'm going to break this out. So those last 3 pieces is my investment, my time-sensitive hook, and end with a question. So the investment is when I say this is a 1-year program and I will be with you every step of the way. The investment for my signature branding package is $5,000. All right. That's the investment. This is where I go into a time sensitive hook. I currently only have 2 client openings available, which is actually true. I do only have two client openings available. And as a bonus for the month of May, I'm including a 1-year membership in my inner circle for free, which is a $3,000 value regularly. So I'm giving you a $3,000 bonus for the next 2 people that invest in my signature branding package. How does that feel to you? How does that feel to you is the end with the question. So let me wrap this entire thing together. And I'm just curious to know, I'm gonna set a stopwatch. Let's see how long it takes me to communicate this thing. Let's do a stopwatch. All right. I'm going to start a stopwatch, and we're going to time it. And I'm going to go through my entire thing from beginning to end so you can see how this feels and get the full picture. Okay? So let's say I'm doing a live stream, or let's say I'm doing a phone call or a Zoom call with someone, and someone's like, Justin, I'm super interested in your launch. I heard that you only have 2 client openings available. I'd like to talk to you about your signature branding package. Can you tell me more about that? Here we go. Absolutely. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much for reaching out to me. So yes, my signature branding package is my baby. It's my most valuable program. It's what most of my clients get started on when they're trying to start a business. What I do is I break my signature branding package out into 4 different stages. Stage 1 is what I call identity and marketing language. And what we do with that is that's where we figure out what your specialty is going to be, what your niche is going to be. We figure out who your ideal client is so we can really engage and attract that ideal client. I'm going to help you figure out what your business name needs to be. We're going to do research on Google and through SEO to find out how much saturation there is with that name to make sure we pick the right one. I'm going to help you establish your domain name and all the social media handles across the board so we really start taking control of the narrative of your brand. I'm going to help you communicate that. So basically when you get to the point of when someone asks you, what do? How do you clearly and confidently communicate that in a way that's going to make them want to know more? So that's identity and marketing language. Stage 2 is visuals and perspective. Visuals and perspectives when we do all things visual. We're going to design your logo. We're going to talk about headshots. I'm going to help you figure out the color schemes because different colors convey different emotion. You want to make sure we position you in the right way with the right colors. Same with fonts. We want to pick the right fonts for your brand. We're going to talk about the feeling that you want to convey, the tone that you want to convey, the attitude that you want your brand to have. But really, overall, I want to help you establish a perspective and a position of a first-class business owner. It's very, very easy to get stuck in the friend zone with your social media audience. So I want to help you get past that and get your audience viewing you as a first-class professional worthy of hire. So visuals and perspective will establish that for you. The third stage we're going to go through is website programs and monetization. This is where I help you figure out your signature program. We're going to establish a list builder to you to help you start building your email list. I'm going to give you lead magnets to help you attract client opportunities. I'm going to set you up with funnels to systemize and monetize your expertise. We're going to create passive income opportunity for you, which is low-hanging fruit, stuff that makes you money while you sleep. And then we're going to also create your premium program. I'm going to build you a website that will work for you. I'm going to give you tools that will work for you. And ideally, what I want to give you is the right systems and processes in place so you can establish passive income opportunity and premium clients and have a system that works both for you. All right. The last thing we're going to go into stage 4 is marketing and management. And really what this is once I build everything for you, I want to teach you how to use it. We're going to talk about pricing strategy, closing strategy, marketing strategy. And I'm also going to talk about business management, how to actually run a business behind the scenes. We're going to go through the legal elements of a business, how to actually run a business, how to scale that business, how to maintain it, and really overall just how to enjoy being successful in building a business that's yours. Overall, guys, listen, I don't want you to waste 1 second of your time or 1 dime of your money on anything that is not producing a direct result. My process will equip you with everything that you need and nothing that you don't to build a profitable and scalable business. And by the end of our contract period, you will know exactly what you need to do to own and operate it. This is a 1-year program. I will be with you every step of the way. The investment for my signature branding package is $5,000. I currently only have 2 client openings available. And as a bonus for the month of May, I'm including a 1-year membership into my VIP inner circle for free, which is usually a $3,000 investment. How does that feel to you? And what questions do you have? That took me 3 minutes. I just talked for 3 minutes straight. That's a lot. And you might be saying, how in the heck did you remember all that? Because if you kind of notice, I've said that whole thing a few times now in this broadcast, but I've said it the exact same way. And when I did the entire summary at the end, I said it the entire thing the exact same way. How? Because I have practiced that, and because I have outlined that, and because when I'm talking to you in my mind, I have my stages broken out. I know I do identity and marketing language. I know I do visuals and perspective. I know I do website programs and monetization, and I know I do marketing and business management. I have those stages in my mind. With each of those stages, I know in my mind what the bullet points are, what I'm gonna tackle in each of those stages, and why you care. I know my summary statement because I've said it hundreds of times. I know my investment and my hook because I've said it hundreds of times. I've practiced this over and over and over and over so that I can clearly and confidently communicate what I do. Now, when I get to the end of this process, that's 3 minutes of talking to you. There's basically, the thing is, I'm covering everything that I think you could possibly need in starting a business. So when I get to the end of that and I say, how does that feel to you and what questions do you have? The only question that comes up is around the price. How do I get started? Do I pay lump sum, or can I make payments? What do we do to get started? Blah, 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 blah. That all comes after that. Rarely do I get questions about anything about what my process does, because I address all that going all the way through it. Does that make sense in the chat stream? Put a yes in the chat stream. I guess the other thing that I would like to know from you guys is that doable for you? I know it's a lot, and I know it's not easy. It's not meant to be easy, because nothing worth having comes easy. This is not, I'm unfortunately, like, usually the things that'll come up is people will say, when I'm teaching this, people will say, can I have you do that for me? Can I have you communicate it for me? I mean, no, I'm sorry, unfortunately. But you know what? I have actually tried this before. I've had people, I'm trying to think about how to give this to you. I've taught this in a masterclass setting before, and I've taught them, this is not just about the fact that I'm comfortable with my own program. It's also about the fact that this process of breaking this out into stages, bullet points, triggers, summary statement, investment hook, and question gives it a flow where you can talk through it. And I've done this in a masterclass form before, where I actually had other people outline their stages, bullet points, triggers, summary statement, investment hook, and question on a piece of paper and give it to me. And I talk through it the way I would talk through my own. And I would record for them me speaking the sales piece and 3 minutes or less. Basically just talking through it and saying it how they should say it, and giving them a recording of just how that whole thing should flow so that they can practice it. It definitely takes practice. But again, I'm going to tell you this, y'all, and I'm going to leave you with this for today. This is the most important piece of having a successful launch. You have got to be able to communicate this. And what a lot of people do, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to take the time that's necessary to practice that, so I'm just going to put all that on a sales page. It's not the same. I mean, if you go to my website, you can go to my website and you can look at, you can look at my different programs and services. You can look at my signature branding package. You're going to see a lot of that same verbiage. You're going to see a lot of that same verbiage on my landing pages for my website, but it's not the same. It doesn't hit you with the same emotion when you're reading it on a web page that it does when you are hearing it from me. It's different, right? So you've got to take the time to communicate this, and you cannot rely on simply having a web page on your website try to sell stuff for you. You've got to be able to communicate it yourself. And when you get to the point of having a conversation with someone, you've got to be able to communicate it to them. If somebody walks up to you and says, can you tell me about your signature program? You've got to be able to confidently and clearly communicate that. All right. So That's what the piece I got for you today. Tomorrow, we're going to pick up on this conversation and we're going to talk about processes for launch and tips for launching. In the meantime, the other thing I'll encourage you with, I'm going to hook you guys up with a freemium today, is a process to master the phone call. I talked about this last week. I'm going to bring it up again because it's one of the most valuable things that I teach, how to master the phone call. If you guys go to masteryourcall.com, I'm going to put this in the chat stream. If you go to masteryourcall.com, that will take you to a page on my website where you can access a masterclass that I teach on how to master the prospect phone call. It's completely free. I usually charge $97 for that course, but I'm hooking you guys up with free for it today. You can check that out. Highly encourage you to watch that. If you are preparing for a launch and or a challenge or anything else, you're trying to figure out how to get ready to sell one of your programs, you've got to get good on the phone. All right. That will teach you my exact process for how I handle a phone call. Highly encourage you to check that out. That's what I got for you today, guys. Hopefully that was good for you. I know 52 minutes of your time is so incredibly valuable, so I appreciate you spending your time with me this morning, guys. Take some time to outline that, work on that for yourself. Join me right back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to pick up on this conversation, and I'm going to talk to you more about all things launch. All right, guys, have a beautiful day. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys all around the web. All right, take care. God bless. I'll see you guys later.